So I've come up with a really hacky McHackintosh way of getting the balance leads connected, at least until I get the new ring terminals. I'm going to take some good old-fashioned half-inch, 1.25 millimeter water pipe, copper water pipe, and I'm going to turn it into bus bars, I guess, of a sort. Excuse me. It'll be good enough for now. So what I've done is I'm going to 2-inch on my speed square and using a pipe cutter to cut it. This is not professional. I am not even pretending that for a second. But you know what? Making something just work when you need it to just work itself is an important skill, especially if you're not going to be near civilization and you just need to solve a problem. So there, that's one 2-inch piece. Now what I'll do is just use this as a template to make my next ones. These don't have to be super accurate. We're not building a spaceship yet. Let's get this a bit close. Oh, everything is so much more fiddly when you're trying to do it in front of the camera and you're trying to look good when you do it, but you're not actually any good and you're just faking it. But if that's not what the internet is for, I don't know what the internet is for. All right, there we go. That should be about 2 inches. Turn. Tighten. Turn. Tighten. Turn. Tighten. Come on, you can do it. Turn. I might have tightened it too much. Tighten. Oh, she's gonna pop. She popped. Use the same one again. Get another line here. I'm doing 3 because that full bus bar that I used last time, I'm going to take it off and use this. Also, the number 3 is kind of cool. And if you don't believe me, ask the Count off Sesame Street. Where did I put that line? There's the line. That's good enough. Of course, now that there's not much to hold, okay, I need something. This will do. Tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten missile, turn. Missiles are bad, but rockets are awesome. Turn, turn. Oh, there we go. We got our 3 pieces. Now, is this the one the right size? Or is that the little short one? That's the little short one. That's the right size. Okay, last bit. A little bit of percussive. She ain't pretty, but it'll work. Oh, which ones were the right size again? I don't know if you can even see all of this. That's the short one. Let's get that out of the way. Do the next one. One of the biggest motivators for me wanting to make my own battery is the ability to be able to fix it when I'm out on my own. So this kind of really hacky stuff might seem really ridiculous when you consider I could just buy whatever I need off Amazon. But that's not going to be true when something breaks in the middle of a crossing. Oh, I can't spill my whiskey. So even though I am going to buy the right stuff, and it will be good, this isn't a bad exercise. There we go. I got 3 really... Here, let's put these together and see if we can get them all flattened. There we go. Now I gotta just drill some holes in these. Last time I was here, my microphone completely messed up. Let's see if we can break the bad habit or the bad luck. So, I have got 2 holes I want to drill in these. One for the stud for the batteries. I don't know if you can see that. And for that, I'm going to use this drill bit. Doesn't matter particularly what size it is, metric, imperial. Point is, when I hold the bit in front of the screw or the post, I don't see the threads, so it should fit. And then the smaller one for the screw, but I'm intentionally choosing one that lets me see the threads so that when I drive this in, it taps like it did on the rest of the bus bars. The other thing I did, if you can see, is that, let me see if I can get the light on this the right way. I drew a line down the center and then a 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 centimeters in from either edge. One's going to be one size, the other side's going to be the other size. So one side will get the screw that's going to mount to the balance lead. The other one will sit over the post. So the last step is to mount the bit. I'm using the small one for the screw first. Let me get these out of the way before I lose them. Tighten them up. I hope this is working with my audio. Maybe this will just become a theme of the channel. The Digital Mermaid's crappy audio. So now what I want to do is I drew a line. I don't know if you can see this. Let me get this a bit closer. I drew a cross pattern. So I'm going to try to line this up so that I can put it in the corner and get that. So I'm going to do that now. I may time lapse this because this might be a little boring to watch. I just have some quick grips on a piece of fiberboard. So now it's loose. Bring this down until I get it where I want it to be. That's close enough for government work. Tighten it up. Don't have to kill it, just enough to hold it into place. Check that it's still roughly in place. I'm way off this, but that's okay. I've got it where I need it to be, right there. And now I start drilling. It's not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but it should do the work. And as a famous Canadian often said, if the boys don't find you pretty, at least they'll find you handy. So now that I've got my bus bars, if you can be so generous to call them that, the next step I also need before to connect the last of the bus bars is to put the ring terminals on the BMS. So you can see here, these, come on, pop off like that. There's 2 of them, and I suppose ideally what you'd want to do, oh, come now, is run 2 separate ring terminals that's the right gauge. I don't have the right gauge, so my plan, as you can see here, is to run 2 into a single barrel that does fit. So I'm going to do that to both of these. One of these, let's see, the B minus, battery negative, is the blue wire. So this is going to go to the battery negative on the battery. This is going to go to the smart shunt. And then the other side of the smart shunt will go to the load. I suppose I should take a brief second and explain what the smart shunt is. So what this does, it's basically a really, really fancy resistor. And it's able to track how much power has gone through it really accurately. And it's got some smarts here. This is basically a little Bluetooth/computer that's able to track when it's fully charged, when it's fully depleted, and measure how much power has gone through it when it's draining and coming into it when it's charging to track how charged, the state of charge of the battery. State of charge is just 100% as it's completely full, 0 it's completely empty, 50% as it's half full, and so on. So I'm going to probably go into a time lapse while I put the screw terminals into here and then set up on the battery, get the posts on, replace the back post that was the traditional bus bar, and get the crimps done on the BMS. Once that's done, I will stop and regroup and see where I am.
And my mistakes seem bigger than they did yesterday. But better years have all been led. It's no surprise that you found my weaknesses again.
So the BMS negative lead, if you recall, I don't know if you can see that, if not I'll put it on the screen, is now connected to the battery negative. So you can see there's the BMS, there's the battery negative lead, and the common lead is going to go to the actual, whatever the load is. I don't know if you can see that there. Now I need to deal with the positive. For the positive, I need to create a wire to connect the T-class fuse. So very similar to how I did the jumper cable at the back to connect the two banks of batteries into a single battery, I'm going to create a probably same size red cable, same gauge wire, to go to the T-class fuse, and then from the T-class fuse to the main disconnect switch. And then once that's done, the last piece to finish assembling the battery, well, there's lots of little fiddly things, but the major thing is setting up my pre-charge resistor and button. So I am going to pause again and make that cable.
I'm growing tired of these summer days. I guess in the end we all go home burned in some way. My fingers have lost their grasp. By nightfall I'll be drowning or searching for a raft. For some water I cast aside this revolution lies. For another I break the mirror that fails to recognize. But all the while I'll say the prayer that leads me home again. There's really something about her. We're asking questions why. There's really something about her. We're asking questions why. This hourglass is keeping me awake with memories that I can't seem to shake. I can feel it, but I don't care. This change will run me over, but all I do is stare. And if you see me standing there on some enchanted street, it all comes down to what you want to let yourself believe. I cannot save you, but I'll try, and if I can, I'll be the one. November grays will shatter 'neath the rays of morning sun. Morning sun. Morning sun.
A brief interlude. First of all, mea culpa. I said I was going to wear my safety glasses when working on the battery, and I haven't been doing that. Here they are. I'm going to get better about that. Second, I noticed that in the last clip before the time lapse that the audio went funny again. I'm not quite sure what it is with these Rode mics. I have a GoPro 9 with the media add-on. For some reason, it seems to just randomly lose this mic. I really apologize for the audio. I'm working on it. I may switch to the boom mic that comes on the media add-on or mod or whatever they call it, but it gives me a lot more echo. So I'm going to keep trying with this for a bit longer. Okay, so according to my drawing, balance connection 0 is black on the white connector, black on the white connector. And it goes through to red on the white connector, which is battery connector 10. And then black on the black connector is battery connector 11. And red on the black connector is 16. So what I'm going to do is start by putting the negative pin on here. I'm watching my voltage here, and I should see roughly 3.2. 6.5, 9, 13, so now it should be 16, 16, 19, 19.7, so this should be 20 or 21. Did I say that was? 19, right, plus 3.2, so that's going to be 23, 24. Then I'm going to go to, whoa, 52. Okay, I've made a mistake, and that's exactly why we check things. Rightio. Wow, how did I screw that up so badly? 23, that should be 26, that should be 29, and then 32. Excellent! I'm actually kind of glad that I made this mistake. It shows the importance of doing this. I'm going to pause the camera and see if I can figure out where I got it wrong. I'm not quite sure how I did this, because my label is correct. You'll notice that I've got battery connector 8. This should be going between 8 and 9. Up here, I'll move the camera up a bit closer, you'll see. This is battery connector 16. This should be down here. Wow, I'm just going to walk through the whole thing and check it over. So I'm going to go to time lapse while I do that and make sure I've un-oopsed this.
And my mistakes seem bigger than they did yesterday. My better years have all been led. It's no surprise that you found my weaknesses again. There's really something about her. We're asking questions why. There's really something about her. We're asking questions why.
Take 2, because my dumbass left the camera in time-lapse mode. So, spoiler alert, I know I've got it right this time, because I just filmed it in time-lapse while I was talking. Yay, I'm smart. Again, we embrace mistakes and stupidity on this channel. That's how you learn. So, what I'm going to do is, now that I've gone through all of the wires, I'm going to go through and test all the connections. So, starting from battery connector 0 to 1, 3.3 volts, 6.58, 6.6, 9.87, 9.9, 13.17, 13.2, 16.47, 16.5, 19.7, 23, 26.3, 29.6, 33, 36.2, 39.5, 42.8, 46.1, 49.4, 52.7. So, because I went pin by pin by pin by pin, and each time it jumped about 3.3 volts, again, the battery's nominal voltage is 3.2, they float above and below that. That tells me that all of my leads are in the correct order. Meaning, I know I can now safely connect this to the BMS. I'm not going to do that today because this is nerve-wracking to me. Again, I'm new to this. I'm not pretending otherwise. And doing all of this is, it takes a lot of concentration, it takes a lot of energy, and I hit a point where I'm just done. I know I have a fair bit to learn to actually connect the BMSs, bring them online, connect the smart shunt, bring it online. And when I say bring it online, I mean making sure I can talk to it from my phone. It's more than I can handle today. I think it's, again, embracing the idea behind this channel that it's for newbies. This stuff is scary. Again, if you're not scared, you're probably not properly appreciating how much energy is in this. It's not stupid dangerous, but still, it's enough that you should be on guard. On guard for the... Yeah, I'm such a Canadian. Anyways, realizing when you've hit the point where it's like, you know what, I've been thinking intensely, I've been very careful, I've been whatever, I'm done. That's not a bad reason to stop. I don't like the idea of thinking, well, I should be working so many hours on this. Work until you're tired and then stop and take a break. And that's where I am. So, next time we're going to hook up the BMS and see if it works. We're going to hook up the shunt. I should have the main Anderson connector, which when I'm done, there's going to be a box hiding all of this, and you're just going to have an Anderson connector hanging out. What's an Anderson connector? I didn't know until a short while ago. I'll go over it next week. This will all be sealed up when it's all said and done. For safety, I've disconnected the positive lead off of the battery because there's a bunch of grounded stuff, so the chances of the shell of this fuse is energized when it's connected, and the chances of it bumping against something that is grounded was too great, so I just disconnected it for now. I'm going to cover up the battery, and we'll keep going next week. I probably just muffled the microphone a little bit. I'm the Digital Mermaid. Thank you for playing along. See you next time.